Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James, joined once again by my co-host Cody on this fine Saturday evening. How are you today, Cody?
James, I'm doing fantastic. If you can't tell, I'm a little festive. I got home from a parade. I forgot what the word was. A Christmas parade that I got to be a part in, which was very fun, very enjoyable. Huge firework display afterward. Very fun. A couple thousand people there. That was crazy. It was really fun. But James, how are you? How are you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. Big Penn State victory today. So we'll take that as a nice way to wrap up the regular season for them, finishing number 11 overall. But number 8 and 9 both lost, I'm pretty sure, today.
Yeah.
So,
but number one in your heart, James,
is Penn State.
Yeah, number one in your heart.
Wait.
In college football, at least. Let's clarify.
Yeah, in college ball, for sure. For sure.
So we are obviously
Ohio State lose too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was a close one too. That was enjoyable.
Sorry for any of our fans in Ohio, the Ohio State fans, but yeah, I'm a Penn State boy. So
we thank you guys for Santonio Holmes. That's about it. That's where we're at.
Yeah, what the heck with Mike Adams? Come on.
Nah.
But Cam Hayward, we'll take him. We'll keep him.
We'll keep Cam, absolutely. So real quick, obviously we're going to go over the Colts roster as we normally do in pregame stuff. We're going to go over the injury report. We're going to go over the little bit of Steelers news and stuff like that this episode and give our 3 keys to success against the Indianapolis Colts. But again, we want you guys to be involved this episode. We want you guys to reach out, or not this episode, I guess, but like on social media, on the comment section, on whether it be on or replying on Twitter or commenting on Facebook. Let us know your 3 keys to success, or a key that you think that we didn't touch that you guys think will have an impact on the game. Let us know. We appreciate any input you guys have, and would love to talk about your guys' input on the podcast next episode as well. Say you come out and say a crazy thing you think that Pittsburgh needs to do or that should happen or will happen. Hey, if you hit it on the nose or if you miss by a mile, we'll talk about it either way. So we appreciate it
both ways.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We won't make fun of you. Don't worry. We make fun of each other as a
not a chance.
Not a chance. But we have some Hall of Fame news, Jay. Stop.
Yes. Yes. So 2 guys out of the Steelers made it into the final 28 list of semifinalists for the 2023 class of the Hall of Fame for the NFL. One, no surprise, Hines Ward makes the semifinal list again. I want to say somebody said this is like the 6th year or 7th year in a row for him. Yep. So he's a repeat offender to the semifinalist list, yet to get to the finalist.
I don't know if I like that terminology for it, but sure. He's a repeat offender.
He is. Hasn't learned his lesson yet. But James Harrison, on the other hand, this is his first time being added on this list. He's got a little bit stronger resume than Hines Ward does. There's a lot of people saying outside of Pittsburgh media that James Harrison has a pretty strong case. So you never know. Maybe we'll see James Harrison get into the Hall of Fame this summer. That'd be pretty neat. I got the chance to see him at the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago when Bill Cowher went in, and
Troy
Polamalu and Donnie Shell and that whole class. So that was pretty neat. I got to get up pretty close to him, and he's even thicker in person than he looks on TV. Let me tell you, boy, is strong as hell. But yeah, really, really pulling for James Harrison. Great to hear the news. We'll hear a little bit closer to the Super Bowl. I believe they announced the list of the finalists.
Yep.
And then later on down the road, we get to find out who actually makes it to the Hall of Fame. But cross your fingers, hope for the best, and if you know any voters, tell them to vote for the Steelers, right?
Oh, absolutely. Those Steelers need to get in. We need another all Steelers class. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that'd be nice. I'll go again if it happens.
Oh, I would probably try to go. Coming from Texas might take a little bit more to get there.
You got some thumbs, don't you?
We could try. You never know.
You just hijack your way to man. Hitchhike, man.
Yeah,
just hitchhike it.
You guys didn't hear this. If you see me though, pick me up.
Completely safe way of traveling.
Okay, moving on.
How about my grandfather used to use hitchhiking as a normal way of traveling?
Really?
That was a thing.
Isn't it illegal
in
now? It's like
40s.
illegal.
I don't know. Yeah, probably. It should be if it isn't.
I think it
But
is.
like people would give each other rides on a regular basis that they didn't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
That was a thing.
Steelers roster news. Steelers did release cornerback Quincy Wilson from the practice squad on Tuesday, and then Wednesday they also released defensive lineman Renell Wren from the practice squad. Now they made 2 signings with that as well. One name we know very well by the name of Master Teague, running back, signed to the practice squad, and wide receiver Jamarcus Bradley also added to that practice squad roster. So obviously the running back situation with Jalen Warren being injured now, got to get some depth in the practice squad. Anthony McFarland may be getting some action from what I hear. I don't actually expect him to, but you never know. I think they might lean heavier on Benny Snell, which I'm just kind of over that experiment, but we'll get to that in the future. Injury report time,
Yeah.
James.
Yeah, and we're going to find out a little bit more about this within the next 24 hours here. So look for either Master Teague or Anthony McFarland to get the call up from the practice squad for the Monday night game, but they don't have to do that until Sunday, being that it is a Monday night game. So we're going to get some action on that tomorrow, no doubt about that. And don't forget, Master Teague was turning some heads in the preseason this year. And then he got injured, went to the injured reserve, and that's basically where he's been since. So he ended up with an injury settlement, wasn't on the practice squad. Now he's fully healthy and back. Jamarcus Bradley might look like a familiar name because he's been off and on the practice squad a few times this season.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect anything there necessarily. But yeah, injury report. Let's start off with your Pittsburgh Steelers. We've got 4 guys with actual game day designations. These are the only ones really being affected by injury, so it's the only ones we're going to talk about this week. Typically, we're trying to kind of predict what's happening, so we're a little bit more in depth with who's been missing and who's been practicing in full and who's been limited and who's got the birth certificate contusions and all that fun stuff. But this week, it's 4 guys. Number 1, Miles Boykin with his oblique is questionable. Hopefully he'll be able to play. He's one heck of a gunner on special teams. Robert Spillane with his back, also questionable. So if he's not able to go, then look for Mark Robinson to dress on Monday night. Ahkello Witherspoon, that hamstring, still out. I'm kind of surprised they never put him on the injured reserve, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But that could be a move coming. You never know. Jalen Warren also out with the hamstring. If his looks like he's not even remotely close to coming back, they are saying that DeMarvin Leal has been practicing 100% in practice. He's a full go and ready to go, but he's still on the IR. He's on week 2 of the 3-week designated to return. So they basically need to either cut somebody or put somebody else on the IR to make room for him.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if one of those 2 is the move. More so, I'd be leaning towards it being Ahkello Witherspoon, unless they just hold out for one more week. If Boswell is healthy after one more week, then you can cut the kicker, and then there's your spot.
Yeah, that would be pretty easy to do for them. On the Colts side of the injury list, game status update for them. Tight end Kyle Granson is questionable with an illness. I'm assuming he's been dealing with an illness majority of the week, and they're not sure if he's going. Yeah, he didn't participate today in practice, so they're going to see how he's feeling for
or
Monday
Friday
night.
or Thursday. So he's been sick for a while.
Yeah. 2 defensive ends are on this list, both as questionable. Yannick Ngakwe with a back injury is questionable, and Kwity Paye is questionable with an ankle injury. And then also defensive tackle DeForest Buckner with a rib injury and illness as well, questionable as well. That is huge. Those last 3 are huge for their defensive line and potential run opportunity and pass blocking all around the board could make a big impact on this game if any of those 3 guys miss, to be clear. So especially if all 3 of them miss.
Absolutely. Especially if there's a bunch on that defensive front with the success Pittsburgh's had running the ball the last couple of weeks. If their defensive line has a bunch of backups on there, man, that is a wonderful, wonderful thing for us. No doubt about that.
Moving on to the depth chart for the Colts roster. We're going to go over the Colts roster real quick. Obviously, quarterback is Matt Ryan, previous Super Bowl loser to the New England Patriots for the Atlanta Falcons, drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, and recently became, actually just this year, this is year 1 still for him with the Colts. So Matt Ryan is a capable quarterback. I'm not saying he's not even top 10 anymore, probably not even top 15. but he is capable of performing well. I want to say his stats on the year are still fairly decent, but I could be wrong. Pulling that up right now. He's actually, 10 touchdown passes to 9 interceptions. Still close to 2,500 yards. So other than the interceptions, he's playing fairly well. Do you want to go over the wide receiver group?
Yes. Now that I finally found their freaking depth chart,
It's all the way on
I
the
had their
side.
website pulled up, and it was all the way over to the right. I don't know that's goofy. Everybody else has it closer. Wide receivers, we've got Alec Pierce, a very talented young wide receiver. Paris Campbell, similar description, and Michael Pittman Jr. Those are their top 3 dudes. They also have Ashton Doolin, it looks like.
Yep, Doolin.
Young, talented wide receiver core in some speed and some size with these guys as well. The tight end room, we've got Mo Alley Cox and Kyle Granson listed as co-starters, but then the guy backing them up might sound familiar to Jelani Woods. We were real big on him in the pre-draft process. He was a size, weight, speed kind of guy where his measurables were all good, and he's actually had some nice plays thus far in the season.
Yeah, he had a 2 touchdown game already on the year, and then they haven't used him much since, which is astonishing. Only 3 touchdowns on the season with 7 receptions for 79 yards. Averaging over 11 yards per catch, which is very, very good. Running back room, Jonathan Taylor, the stud back there. They used to have Nyheim Hines as well, recently traded him away. Deion Jackson and Zach Moss are backing him up. Zach Moss, previously of the Buffalo Bills, but came over in that trade for Nyheim Hines. So very capable backfield. Jonathan Taylor's no joke. Talks about him winning MVP last year, even though he didn't, obviously, but on the year already. He's having a slower year than last year as far as touchdowns are concerned. Only 3 on the year, but he still rushed for almost 700 yards, averaging 4.59 yards per carry. Very good running back. Yeah, very good running back. And then their offensive line, when you look at them, Bernhard Rallman at left tackle, Quentin Nelson left guard. I think Quentin Nelson's been Pro Bowl like consistently for the past multiple years.
Struggling a little more this year though. The offensive line in general not playing as well this year.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly, the center, Will Fries, the right guard, and Brandon Smith, the right tackle. I mostly love when Ryan Kelly goes out with an injury because then you have Wesley French come in at the center position. And then when you look at him in the right guard, it says French fries. So it's a good time.
Oh Lord. Yeah, that's an interesting combo for us. All the talk out of Colts camp right now is the struggles from left tackle Bernhard Raymond. That name sounds familiar. He was an early round pick. I think he went in the first. If it wasn't first, it was early second for the Colts this last year. And then right guard Will Fries. If that name sounds familiar, you're probably a Penn State fan. He was an offensive lineman for Penn State. And what they're not known for is good offensive linemen, especially from that era. Those two are the struggle bus right now. So
3rd round.
He went in the 3rd. Yeah, he was supposed to go in the 1st.
Yeah, 3rd round, 77th overall.
They've got him starting at left tackle right now, and every indication from Colts reporters is that he's struggling pretty mightily right now. So real possibility for Alex Highsmith on that side to really kind of feast on the struggling offensive lineman. Let's switch over to the defensive side here, Cody, where the defensive front, most of these names are going to sound familiar because Cody just told you about them on the injury list.
Yep.
With Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, and Yannick Ngakoue as the starting front 4. Some quality backups and some names you've heard of before with Ifedi Odenigbo, and then Dio, same last name, Brian Cowart and Eric Johnson backing them up. So there is some pedigree there. There are some talented dudes there, but 3 of the 4 starters banged up right now.
Yeah, you look at the linebacker core. They run a 4-3, which is how you have those 4 down linemen and then 3 linebackers. The weak side linebacker, Bobby Okereke, the middle linebacker, Zaire Franklin, and then the strong side back, EJ Speed. Not big name guys, but they've actually, I got to watch some highlights yesterday. I was just getting bored, so I just started watching some highlights. I've been out of work for about a week with no work vehicle, so I was like, I wonder how the Colts have been doing this week. These guys are pretty quick. They look faster on tape, like this year on film, than their 40 times, because I was really curious. how they did, and EJ Speed, unfortunately, isn't the fastest of them, if I remember correctly. But they're faster in game than what they have been recently, or what they're listed on paper, to clarify.
Gotcha. Interesting side note: the backup weak side linebacker, Mr. Grant Stewart, if that name sounds familiar, he was Mr. Irrelevant just 2 years ago. The last
Hey,
player selected in the NFL draft. Always fun, and they always make a big deal out of it, and that always sticks out for me. Cornerback room, we've got Stephon Gilmore and Isaiah Rodgers Sr. as the starters, with Kenny Moore the second in the slot. So those are your starting corners. And then the safeties, Julian Blackman with Rodney McLeod. Nick Cross backing up at strong safety, who is a guy that we had hoped Pittsburgh would take as the new starting safety in place of Terrell Edmonds. Instead, they stuck with Terrell Edmonds, who's actually had a decent year, just no turnovers. So
decent, whatever.
he ain't getting toasted like he used to, buddy.
That's I'll give you that. I just expect more. I just expect
so do
more.
I should rephrase. I don't expect more. I would like to see more. I feel like I know him as a player well enough right now to not expect more out of him, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's almost developed into a decent quality starter at this stage in his game.
That's fair.
Special teams guys, I know we better not skip them.
No, absolutely not.
Punter Matt Hack, place kicker Chase McLaughlin, and then the long snapper Luke Rhodes. I better talk about the return men or Cody will have my hide. Isaiah Rodgers Sr. is the kick return man, and Kiki Kuti.
Yeah, special teams matter, especially for the Colts. They had the great Pat McAfee for quite some time. James, I just shared a funny video with you about Pat McAfee.
You did. You love that guy. He is
He's hilarious, and he shared some good stories. He shared the good story about when the one time he was going to score his first NFL touchdown and Troy Polamalu ruined it. And then shared another story recently how when he got drafted, he's from Pittsburgh originally, so we're not too far off topic. And we're playing the Colts this week where he played his career at. So we're kind of on topic, but Pat McAfee shared a story that I saw a TikTok of today, and he was like, whenever he got drafted, the coach at the time of the Colts asked if he had ever held a ball for a kicker before, and he's like, oh yeah, I got experience doing that, when in reality he had never done that before. And obviously if you know Pat McAfee and the Colts from back then, it was Adam Vinatieri was the kicker, and he had built up some type of legacy there, and so Pat McAfee got sent by Adam Vinatieri to a holding camp to learn how to hold correctly, which is hysterical. So good stories from Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee show. If you guys get a chance to watch that on YouTube as well, that's a good thing to watch live every day, I think from like 12 to 2 or 12 to 3. Your time specifically, not my time. But yes, so now it's time, James. 3 keys. You want to go first this week, or you want me to go first?
I think it's your turn to go first this week.
Are you sure? I'll go first. I don't care.
I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure at all.
We're going to go 3 keys. You ready for my 3 keys to success? Number 1, don't get beat deep. I'm just nervous about the Michael Pittman Jr., the Alec Pierce, even Paris Campbell. These guys are capable of beating us over the top if we let them. And I felt like we let too many passes get over us last week in the narrow loss, if you want to call it a narrow loss. But number 1, don't get beat deep. Matt Ryan's still a capable quarterback. He could make us look really stupid, when in reality, I think we should make him look stupid. Number 2, Sack City, baby. I want to apply pressure consistently, get sacks. I want us to leave this game with 5 or 6, James. I know we're not going up against a mobile quarterback, which we like to do because we're good at corralling them in, and getting some sacks. But I think Matt Ryan and this, especially that left tackle has been struggling this year. Get some pressure on him. The moment you apply pressure with TJ Watt, switch sides, let Alex Highsmith get in there, allow them to take turns. I know that sometimes they switch, not very often, but sometimes they switch sides. Cam Hayward get involved. Let's go. Cam Hayward can surely apply some pressure on that left side. And then my third final key to success is a very specific stat. Very specific stat. You ready for this, James?
Yeah, go for it.
Najee Harris has his first 100-yard rushing game this year. I don't remember if he had one in his career so far with Pittsburgh, but this year he has not had one, and this week he's going to get his first one. 100-yard rushing, that'll help. The main goal there is time of possession, help keep the time of possession good, but I want Najee Harris to get 100 yards rushing.
I like it. I like it, especially Sac City. I think there's a real opportunity there with Bernard Raymond struggling so much on the left. That's one of the things I love about our outside linebackers. That they're pretty static. They stay to their sides,
Hmm.
and it makes them unique, and it makes their accomplishments that more impressive when you start watching other guys. I got to watch a little bit of the Patriots game the other day, and I saw that Matthew Judon gets moved all over the place to whatever matchup they can try to find to give him an advantageous matchup to try to get him in there for a sack. Kind of similar to what Cleveland does with Myles Garrett. You never see him line up in the same place twice, and
Yep.
it's all based off of trying to get him production. It's just that Miles is a low effort guy. If he thinks he's not getting a sack, he ain't really gonna try. But Judon
Shots
putting together one heck
fired.
of a year. Call it what it is, man. He's played what 11 games and he has less than 30 tackles.
Yep.
Stop, stop, man. He's had a lot of 0-1 tackle games this year. Kind of embarrassing if you're supposed to be a superstar, but
Yep.
whatever. So my key's a little bit different. There's going to be some parallels. You'll see that. Number one, let Kenny cook.
I like
I
it.
want to see Kenny bombing it. I think the offense showed some signs of life. The passing game got a little bit stronger. We saw Kenny get himself another passing touchdown last week. So, very important. We're seeing some strides. And let's not forget the big picture here, guys. When you look at Kenny's numbers from the last 2 weeks, he has 3 touchdowns, he has 0 turnovers, and he has almost 600 yards passing. When you're looking at the collection of 2 weeks, and I know 2 of those touchdowns are rushing, but when you're looking at that collective, if you were to tell me that he has that over 2 weeks, I'm going to tell you I'm pretty happy with his numbers. Sure, I'd like to see some more passing touchdowns, but they're coming. So let Kenny cook. That's my first key. Number two, slot wide receiver production. Don't care who it is, if it's Steven Sims, if you're putting George Pickens in there, if Deontay Johnson's playing in there, if Gunnar Olszewski's in there, or even if you're using a tight end as your slot receiver. I need some slot receiver production because we haven't had it really this season. And it's just too big of a part of the offense for it to not be successful.
That's fair.
Uh, Number three,
Numero tres.
it's time to see those turnovers again, baby.
I like
I
it.
think I think we're going to get that with the secondary again, a little bounce back game from them. They should be kind of embarrassed by what happened last week, really kind of getting beat up. You get some adjustments and you play a little bit less Arthur Mollett and a little bit more James Pierre, a little bit more Trey Norwood maybe in the slot, and I think you're going to be a lot more successful. These younger receivers aren't going to be as nuanced with their route running. They're going to have some tells. You're going to be able to jump some routes, and Matt Ryan does not have the arm he used to have. So you're going to be able to jump some routes. This is the kind of quarterback that a smart veteran like Cam Sutton takes advantage of. And if he screws up and throws it Minka too many times, look for him to put his 4th interception on the season on the board this week.
Yeah, we freaking love that. We would love to see that. Absolutely. So again, we thank you guys so much for listening and watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on all the things. Make sure to like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. The subscribe button is free, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, this is your host, James and Cody, signing off.
Peace.